Yes, please. Good evening and welcome to the Permanent Public Building Committee of Monday, July 8th, 2024. Under Governor Baker's emergency order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, issued March 12th of 2020, and in effect until the termination of the emergency. Meeting of public bodies may be conducted virtually, provided that adequate access is provided to the public. On March 29, 2023, the remote public meeting provision was extended through March 31st of 2025. As indicated, this is a recorded session. It is on Zoom. All votes will therefore be conducted by roll call. The first item for business is to approve the most recent minutes for June 10th of 2024, our last meeting. And I will simply ask if there are any questions or comments with respect to the minutes as presented. Otherwise, we will deem them as accepted and instruct that they be placed in the file accordingly. Any comments on the minutes? Terrific. Hearing none, we will move on to our first substantive matter of the evening, which is the Emery Grover project. And I know that Ken is out this week, so I believe, Hank, thank you for interrupting your time away from the office to join us.
Oh.
And that's it. Appreciate it.
Pleasure as always to be with you.
Hank is always.
Can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Yes.
Richard, can I interrupt just for a second?
Yes, please do.
I think I understand why we did this, but can you just confirm that we no longer have to vote on the minutes?
Yeah, we've actually been comparing notes with other committees, and it turns out that many committees do not vote minutes. They simply will ask whether there are any comments or amendments to the minutes as presented. If not, they're deemed approved by the committee.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, great. So okay, so Hank, want to take it away?
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So these are recent photographs. You can see here the approach, the sidewalk to the north portico entry, the ramp on the left and the stairs on the right. The floor in the MDF room has been installed, and the wood panel on the wall now has multiple boxes on it to receive telephone data and security panels. This is the hallway, the main hallway in the lower level, looking from the north down to the south, with toilet rooms down along here and entrances into some of the other rooms on the right-hand side. You can see the ceiling lights are in place. Sprinklers have been connected. This is on the east hall, also on the lower level. The aluminum frame storefront is in place. The doors have been received, and they'll begin installing those soon. The glass has been measured, and it'll probably be 2 weeks before they come back to install the glass within these various openings. Here's the MDF room. You can see some of the wiring up above, and one of the 3 panels that'll be on this wall. There'll also be a rack that's assembled but about to go into place. In fact, today it was going to go into place. And here you can see that room 130 on the first floor, where they've initiated putting in the metal acoustical panels on half, and they're beginning to paint the old entryway which has the coffered ceiling at the far end. Stairs, the metal on the stairs is being painted. This is the south stair. They're doing the same on the north. And the concrete sidewalk on the east side, here looking from the loading dock, looking northward, you can also see that the binder course is down, and the majority of the curbing is already in place. On the west side of the building, this is the rough grading for the sidewalk that slopes at an approved handicap pitch all the way up to the north entry. So there is handicapped access on the west side of the building as well. Are there any questions about these photos?
Hank, looks like great progress has been made. It's really very comforting to see that the interior work is shaping up beautifully.
Yes, and they hope to be putting in the flooring later this week. Let's see, stop sharing window closed. Let me open up the agenda. Share this. There we go. And so, as mentioned in the photographs, or seen in the photographs, exterior window molding is completed. They were beginning to do cleaning and final cleaning on the windows and removing the protective plastic, doing that today. MEP fixtures are complete on the first and second and underway on the lower level and third floor. They are planning to do startup on the air source heat pumps upstairs and the other units after on Thursday, after the dust and the cleaning is complete, first round of cleaning. Painting, they're finishing up painting on the third floor. Stair painting is underway. Tile work on all levels is now complete, and they're putting in the balance of the plumbing fixtures. Ceiling grid is installed, and they're as they're finishing out rooms, they're installing the drop ceiling. Interior trim is ongoing, and that they're finishing that up on the lower level. There's still a little bit on the third floor as well. And you saw site work underway. They removed one of the two trailers and then relocated the other one so they could finish the binder coat in the back parking lot area. Any questions on status?
I had a couple of questions, Hank, if I could. Who's doing when they start up the heat pump system? What are they doing for precautions to get whatever dust is in the system out of there before they start that system up? Are they putting some kind of cloth material to filter that out? Are they just putting filters in and then using those filters to pick up all the dust and then throw them out? Or how are they doing that? And then how does that relate to the balancing system, and who's doing that?
So on the startup, the air source heat pumps, they're literally just starting them up to make sure that they're functioning.
Okay.
They have, now that all of the plastering is complete and the painting, the primer coat and the first coat are complete, the dust has really subsided, And they've had cleaners in today, they'll come in tomorrow and Wednesday to dust and continue their rough cleaning. And they're beginning the installation of some of the flooring material, which also helps contain the dust. In the units themselves, I believe that they'll be putting in construction filters, and then they'll change those once the units are. But I think they're literally just starting it up to make sure that they all function and they don't need to replace any of them.
Okay. And they'll- but
Vanderweil will be,
during that process, obviously, they will put filters in, as you mentioned. That's good.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes they try to, they kind of start up in a vacuum, if you know what I mean. They'll start up the heat pumps and say, well, that's somebody else's job to fix that. But Vanderweil's doing all that.
Vanderweil will be present
Right.
at the startup.
Okay,
And Barry, maybe you'll be there as well. Just to confirm all the equipment is functioning. Programming, there's still some programming that needs to be done relative to the various units. And that wiring is in place, but it's not connected yet to the mainframe.
are those units Mitsubishi units? know? I
Is that
hope.
yes, Barry?
Yeah, they're trained in Mitsubishi.
Okay, good. Good. Do you have any of those in your system, Barry? The Mitsubishi ones?
We have them all over the place. Yeah, the multi-cities are over at the Rosemary, the multi-cities at the Cath, and also at Memorial Park. So they're all over the place, the VRF systems. We have them now. This will be the fourth building, I think, Hank, maybe the fourth building that we have these VRF systems as the primary source of cooling and heating.
That's good. Good, thanks.
Okay, I'll move on. The ACL is listed here. And so we're carrying about 95,000 in the anticipated cost log. And the next, I think you all received the backup material for these various invoices. So we can go through and vote those. And you all received the details associated with this pay app and the H+A invoices, the UTS invoices, and equipment that's been received from Wally Computer. So maybe we'll go through, well, the bottom line in terms of the amount, let me rotate this. The remaining contingency amount after the ACL is around 245,000. But we also have some other reserves that are not fully spent or committed. But I think we're working within that 245,000. Erwin, you had a question?
Unmute.
You're muted, Erwin.
Should know by now. Can you scroll back to the ACL, please?
Yeah. Well, you can also see it on the bottom here. Same.
Well, just have a question about the top two items. There's no dollar sign yet for that. Do we have any idea of the magnitude of those top two, the ceiling removal and window, something to do with the windows, if I remember?
Yeah, I'm totally guessing on these, but I think we're probably let's see, South Portico.
I think last month,
Yeah,
he mentioned that he was holding those slots open, but they weren't sure of what the price might be.
yeah, there's,
I don't think he's still sure what that is.
I'm just trying to get a sense of order of magnitude versus the contingency that we have left.
Yeah.
yeah, my guess is that, those top two, might be in the, 30,000 range combined.
Okay, so we're not looking at a big chunk, like a significant chunk of the contingency in all likelihood.
No, I
Going
think
close.
between these four, I doubt that we would double the 95. The trash doors, again, we're still getting pricing on that, but that might be in the 15 to 20 range. Pinup boards should be a lot less than that. So yeah, I think I'm reasonably comfortable with the 245, and we can as I say, we might be able to squeeze money out of some of the other categories as we go along, particularly things like the debt. We were carrying 90,000, and we still have almost 80,000 left in for borrowing, and we hardly ever seem to use that up.
I
Okay.
think Ken said that at our meeting in August, he should have numbers for all of these things and have a better feel for how it compares to the contingency.
Yes. Yeah, by the August meeting, we should be in better shape to understand these.
But I don't think anything is scary at this point, Erwin, that I've seen anyway. I don't think we're gonna have much left, but I don't think we
Oh, no.
were talking about looking at it and determining whether or not we should communicate with FinCom about
Right.
a need for some more, but I think he indicated that he wouldn't recommend doing that until August, till they have all the numbers.
Yeah, I think that would be wise that we wait and see. And also by then we might have a better idea of how much money is needed for the debt. And likewise, some of the IT purchases that they've been holding back on. Sorry, I'm going to rotate this. We should have a better idea by early August.
I feel more comfortable with how you've explained all that. Thank you.
Agreed.
But I'm just gonna, if I can, I'm still a little concerned. I mean, we've been holding the 245 for a while, which is great. I don't think we have any hardscape issues per se, but it seems like these things are starting to crop up. So I think it behooves us, and as much as Ken's gonna get us in August uptick, I think it's gonna be important to get that August, to complete that August, because I think you're talking already 95 off the 245, that's 130. And
No,
okay,
no, the 245 already deducts the 95.
The 95.
okay, thank you. All
Yeah.
right, fine, fair enough. Okay, that makes it a little easier, but still, it's lurking. And I think we've all been around that, so it's going to really behoove us to get the August readout.
Oh, we will definitely spend down the entire appropriation.
Right. My concern is even going back and asking for another 20 or 30,000. The key, I think, is getting the numbers as good as they possibly can be by August, so that whoever is going to go to FinCom and talk to them about either the need for more or not a need for more has the numbers and can do that in August rather than wait until September and not move things forward. So
Well, my goal is not to have to go to them at all.
Right.
And an August meeting should be able to convince us of that without having to wait another month.
Okay,
That's why we've been asking for this for the last 3 months, I think.
yep.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Hank before we get to the voting items?
Hank, yeah, I'm sorry, and you may have asked, 'cause I was a couple minutes late. Do we have any changes to the substantial completion date, anticipated substantial completion date?
We are targeting initiating the move-in of furniture on September 1 with a targeted occupancy date of October 1. And the contractor is moving in that direction. I think the progress you've seen on the inside certainly gives me confidence that he's moving in that direction. And the exterior, the pieces that won't be complete will be the landscaping. Some of that can't happen until early fall. And the grass, it takes time for the grass to grow. But they're making great progress.
And I mean, I haven't talked to, so with the superintendent is comfortable in terms of his ability to move once the year started at that point, or has he anticipated any challenges? I haven't talked to him in a while. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, that's the date that he has been targeting.
Okay.
And I think it's important to keep pressure on the contractor
Mhm.
to so people just don't slack off. And he's been good moving things forward.
Thank you.
Okay, hey, did you wanted to just very briefly highlight some of the more important items in the comprising the change order, or and we can, I guess, and put those to a vote.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Some of the drywall changes are associated with openings, interior openings, and finishing out some of the back of house spaces. The line striping relates to the striping in the parking lot, and that we're going to be using, I think, the thermoplastic striping finish, which will be much more durable than just a painted finish. And part of that was related to the installer. The flow fill, when they were prepping for the rough grading, they found an old, what I think was either a cistern or a dry well in the back. And so they had to fill that with concrete. Otherwise, they would have had to, compact it up in lifts. And then the credit on the leader strap, the leader straps were supposed to be installed with fold-in covers, and they didn't install it that way. And rather than having them remove every single one of them, we asked for a credit. The bolts, I believe, are stainless that are holding them in place. So we're not anticipating there being any problem with that.
Okay.
So those are the four change PCOs.
Okay. Any questions for Hank? We move to approve. All right. Hearing no motion, no further questions on the change order. We'll take that first, if that's okay, Hank, with you. Proceed with the change order first.
Yep, that'd be good.
Okay, terrific. Excuse me. The chair will move that the committee approve the change order from M. O'Connor Contracting, that's change order number 15 for Emery Grover, in the amount of $11,194.70. Is there a
Second.
second to the motion? Thank you, Michael. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the roll call vote. Stuart,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Roy,
Aye.
Irwin,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Ann? Did we lose Ann?
Sorry, aye.
Oh, okay. Okay. And the chair votes aye. Thank you very much for that. Okay. All right, then we proceed to the invoices. Anything of note here, Hank, before we make our motions?
No, I think you all saw some of the detail for M. O'Connor.
Yep.
And they're kind of on target, right on target for their anticipated spend down.
Excellent. Any questions for Hank as to any of the invoices? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to the roll call vote. First to the motion, actually on the first motion. And the first motion is that the committee approve the requisition for payment from M. O'Connor Contracting. That's requisition number 19 through May of 2024 in the amount of $1,276,701.98.
I just have to make a correction. It's through
Oh,
June.
okay.
It should be
June.
June, not May.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, no worries. Okay, June, thank you very
And,
much.
and is it application number 18 or 19?
No, it's 19.
It says 18 on the,
Well, it should be, no, it says 19. On my
There's
sheet.
18 on the screen.
Sorry.
anyway,
Okay.
Oh,
as
that's
long as
that's
it's
Ken's
19,
mistake.
that's fine.
That's Ken's mistake. Not mine.
All right.
Okay,
And
As
was
long as
very
we're
anxious to
approving
go on
19.
his.
so.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you very much, George. The motion's been made and seconded. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the roll call vote. Stuart,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Roy,
Aye.
Irwin,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you. We then come to the next set of invoices. The motion, actually, the chair will move that the committee approve invoices for payment from BH Plus A. And the two invoices are, one is for June of 2024 Emery Grover Services. The other is for June of 2024 Emery Grover Services, and that's PS number 11 window test. The two amounts are $18,333.00, and the other is $13,450.00, for a total of $31,783.00.
Second.
Yes, Michael?
Second. I just was getting your second if you needed it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry, was that a second or?
Yeah, that was a second. I was
Okay,
just
thank
trying to keep things moving. Although Irwin has a question.
Okay, great. Yes, Irwin, please.
Yeah, so you said PSS 11 is for window testing, so
Yes.
PSS 12 is for the other invoice?
No, they we extended their services through a PSS last month. And so this is just their monthly billing.
But I think, yes, it is PSS 12 that we extended the,
Oh,
So
this
one is for the window testing and one is the extension.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So just Catherine, just to clarify, is this PSS 11, is that correct, or 12?
well, I think
Both.
the window testing is 11 and then
11,
the 18,000 is the 12.
Oh, okay, got
Is
it.
the extension of the
Services.
CA, construction admin.
Very good. Any other questions or comments from the committee? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to the motion. Again, we're going to treat this as a motion for the combined two invoices in the amount of $31,783.00. we will proceed to the roll call vote then. Stuart,
Aye.
George,
I,
Roy,
aye,
thank you. Erwin,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you. The next item on the agenda for Emery Grover is the motion to that the committee approve the an invoice for payment from Watley Computer Associates. And that is for networking devices in the amount of $80,073.00. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
second.
Thank you, Michael. I think Michael got it. Appreciate it. Any questions or comments from the committee on this invoice? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the roll call vote. Stuart,
Aye.
George,
I,
Roy,
aye,
Erwin,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you. And finally, under Emery Grover, we have a motion, I'll move rather that the committee approve the invoice for payment from UTS of Massachusetts. That's for May and June 2024 materials testing in the amount of $1,460.00. Is there a second on the motion?
second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the roll call vote. Stuart,
Aye.
George,
I,
Roy,
aye,
Erwin,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you. Okay. And is there any other business before the committee on Emery Grover? Any comments, questions, concerns before we move on? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to our next agenda item, which is the RTU replacement at Elliott and Broadmeadow. Okay, take it away.
Okay, let me share my screen again. Can you all see that? So these are the new rooftop units that were lifted in this past month. In the distance here, this is over the top of the cafeteria and performance space, RTUs number 3 and 4. Then RTU 1 was also lifted in. In the foreground, you can see how they had to create a cap for that existing curb in order to fit the new unit on, which was slightly smaller than the old unit. And then RTU number 2 has a total of 6 of these VRF drives, and that will provide both the heating and the cooling to the RTU number 2, which is the largest, and that unit will serve the majority of the classrooms at Elliott. The piping you see in the foreground, they have removed the old gas piping that fed to those rooftop units, and this is the electrical feed conduit that's replacing that. On the rooftop, they've made significantly more progress since this photograph was taken, and then you can see within the mechanical room some of the new pumps, and the electric room is right behind here, but they've also started some of the electrical work within the electric room. Any questions on these photographs?
schedule, Hank?
They're on schedule, maybe a little bit ahead. With all the units in place prior to the 4th of July weekend, the week, They were anticipating in their original schedule, they wouldn't be getting them in place until this past week. And so they're not huge crews on site these days, except for the electrical, and E&E is doing a lot of their work as well.
Hank, what's the level of complexity of the schedule for commissioning in terms of, operating these versus what we had previously?
They're new units. Startup is anticipated by the end of the month. At least in some of the units, the air source heat pumps, which will be installed in this area here, will be coming in the middle of the month. You can see the steel work there. So all of that needs to get electrified and reconnected. The other thing we are investigating is whether some of the areas that showed up as being wet roof areas, whether those need to be fully replaced or not. But that work can occur either this month or early next month. So far, we believe that they're on schedule, and we'll have it operating prior to the start of school.
So they won't be trying to figure it out on the first day of school. That's kind of my bottom line, is asking that.
That's our
That's our hope, right?
That's our goal.
Okay.
There will still be fine tuning and commissioning going on when school starts, but it should be mainly in the control room and on the rooftop.
I mean, at that point, you're adjusting for the fact that you have an occupied building, but at least you know which buttons to push and which levers to change.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
Yeah. I mean, it always comes down to the last week, no matter how far ahead we plan. But the equipment is in place, and they are making progress.
You said the air source heat pumps should be in within the next couple of weeks?
Yes. They are coming just in time. So as soon as they arrive at the riggers, they will schedule the install. Those are the only pieces of equipment that weren't ready prior to the start of work.
Okay.
But the ones associated with rooftop unit 2, all are in place, and the conduit is going down. They should start pulling the cable, I would say next week. So that means in 2 to 3 weeks, they should be able to start energizing the systems.
Okay.
Other questions?
Yeah, that's still running down to the wire in terms of end of July. So that it only gives you what, 3 weeks before school starts, something like that. Yeah,
Yep.
it's down to the wire again.
Well, we knew that from the beginning.
Yeah, we did.
It was going to be a summer slammer.
Any other questions or comments for Hank?
What did I know?
Okay.
Not for me.
Okay, very good. We can then proceed to the single voting item for the R2 replacement project at Elliott. Actually, R2 in general. This is the chair will move that the committee approve the requisition from Enterprise Equipment Company for payment of requisition number 8 through June of 2024 in the amount of $1,461,955.00. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Thank you, George. Any questions for Hank on the on the invoice? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to the roll call vote. Stuart,
Aye.
George,
Aye,
Roy? Roy?
Aye.
Yeah, thank you. Erwin,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you. Any other questions or comments regarding the RTU replacement project at either Elliott or Broadmeadow before we move on?
question regarding the noise level of the equipment. Has any demand been made for testing, for noise testing results? And do we expect there to be any problem in that regard?
There were, prior to the start of work and during the design process, the acoustical engineer went out and measured noise levels around the perimeter of the building, and through their calculations concluded that there would not be an issue. There are, as you know, existing screens that surround any equipment that's closest to the abutters, but also at least two of the units are lower, so there's a higher mass of building near the entryway that shields any sound that would be heading off in that direction.
Okay. I'm
They-
assuming there'll be a test sometime in August of that.
Once they're operational, it was, we don't have a planning permission per se, but it does have to correspond with the state requirements for noise. So yes,
Yep.
we can follow up with those tests if need be.
Thank you. Anything else before we move on? Okay, hearing none. Oh, good.
Richard, I should say that on the Broadmeadow, as you might recall, we received two exorbitantly high bids. We have retracted those, indicating to those two bidders that the town was going to review the scope and then invite new bids. And we are in the process of getting a scan of the roof, which was otherwise part of the contract for them to do the scan. But we felt that if we do the scan in advance and are very clear as to which areas within the roof have to be just repaired and others that have to be replaced, we would get a better bids. There's no urgency to that because the work won't occur until the summer of 2025. And we also think that we might get, by broadening the request for bid and putting it out in the fall or even later, that people who are doing summer slammers will be freed up from that work, and hopefully we'll get some realistic bids. The estimated amount was around $70,000 and the low bid was $270,000. So it was pretty crazy.
All right.
Thank you for that update, Hank. All right, any questions for Hank on that topic before we move on? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed then to other business. I don't really have anything of note this cycle. I would draw everyone's attention to the agenda and the calendar, proposed calendar for the balance of the year through December. If you have any questions or comments about the calendar, please let me know, and we'll try to address them. Anything else, Hank? Go ahead.
Yeah, as last month, I'm not sure that we will need our second meeting on the 22nd of this month.
Mhm.
The other projects that are within the study phase, are just beginning. We've had our initial an initial meeting on the library. We've had 2 initial meetings on the DPW. And we're still awaiting a meeting with the MSBA to discuss the enrollment. And once that meeting is complete, then we might have a better idea of how rapidly they would move forward. And I don't know if you have any reconnaissance on that issue?
No, nothing to add. You've stated that well.
And then also on the on the theater rigging repairs, as you know, we received no bids previously. We have subsequently gone out, contacted at least a half a dozen other potential suppliers who've expressed some interest. We will be putting that invitation to bid out on Thursday, with the bids due at the end of the month. And so we're hoping this time to get some bids. However, the work, it's clear that people plan a year ahead in that industry. And so we have indicated that we would work with the winning bidder to find mutually convenient times during vacations, but completion doesn't need to be done until a year from the award of bid. So the summer of 2025 would still be a possibility. And hopefully that will get us some bids and get that work moving forward. So by August, we should have bids in hand that we can ask the committee to approve.
Right. Okay.
And also by August, we should have some updates on some of the schematic designs.
Excellent. Okay. Anything else from the committee? Any other questions or comments before we wrap up? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So I'd like to make that motion.
So moved.
Thank you, George. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Erwin. Roll call vote. Stuart,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Roy,
Aye.
Erwin,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Thank you all very much for your time and attention this evening, and enjoy the rest of much of your summer. Before we next meet, will be a month from now, more or less. So enjoy the next month, and we'll see you in August.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rashid.